Amid frosty India-Bangladesh ties since the takeover of new regime, Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is in Dhaka. He's holding a high-stakes meeting with the Bangladesh Foreign Secretary Masood bin Momen and a meeting with Mohammad Yunus, the current head of government in Bangladesh. That meeting is on the cards as well. Talks are expected to focus on the state of minorities, regional security and bilateral relations. Discussions around ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina may also dominate talks. Meanwhile, Sheikh Hasina addressed an event in London for the first time after leaving Bangladesh and accused the interim government led by Mohammad Yunus of overthrowing her government through protests. She alleged that the current regime is fascist, citing human rights violations and attacks on minorities. She also accused the current regime of torturing minorities.
আপনারা জানেন যে এমনকি একজন সাধু চিন্ময় কৃষ্ণ দাস তাকে গ্রেফতার করা হলো, কিন্তু তার পক্ষে আইনজীবী দাঁড়াতে পারবে না। এটা কোন ধরনের বিচার যে একজন আসামির পক্ষে আইনজীবী দাঁড়াতে পারবে না? যদি কোনো আসামি আইনজীবী না দিতে পারে তো এটা সরকারের দায়িত্ব আইনজীবী নিয়োগ দিয়ে দেওয়া, ন্যায় বিচারের স্বার্থে। বাংলাদেশে ন্যায় বিচার নাই।
हमारा विदेश सचिव जब गए हम वहाँ तो कुछ ना कुछ हाल ढूंढेंगे कि वहाँ के सरकार के साथ कैसे अच्छा संबंध बनाया जाए, क्योंकि हमारा जो बायलैटरल रिलेशन था वो बहुत ही बढ़िया था बांग्लादेश के साथ। वो किसी तरीके से अगर खराब ना हो इसका प्रयास तो चलेगा ही, क्योंकि भारत कभी किसी को पहले अटैक नहीं करते हैं, उसके खिलाफ नेगेटिव नहीं सोचते हैं। खास करके बांग्लादेश हमारा पड़ोसी देश है, तो हम मानते हैं कि आगे जाके एक समाधान निकलेगा इसका।
देखिए, बांग्लादेश बांग्लादेश देश की डेवलपमेंट के लिए परिस्थितियां सुधरनी चाहिए। जिस तरीके के वहाँ पे माइनॉरिटीज़ यानी हिंदुओं के ऊपर जिस तरीके का आक्रमण हो रहा है, एक के बाद एक घटनाएं घट रही है, ये बांग्लादेश की अपनी छवि के लिए भी ठीक नहीं है। और बांग्लादेश को आगे आने वाले समय में जो इकोनॉमिक कॉन्स्ट्रेंट जिसका सामना करना पड़ेगा, उसके लिए भारत को उनको पास चाहिए। अटल जी एक बात कहा करते थे कि आप अपने पड़ोसी कभी नहीं बदल सकते। तो हमारा पड़ोसी बांग्लादेश और हम बांग्लादेश के पड़ोसी है, तो बांग्लादेश इस ट्रूथ को कभी डिनाई नहीं कर पाता।
Let's bring in Indrajit Kundu on this broadcast for more details. Indrajit, all eyes are on the Foreign Secretary's current visit to Dhaka and of course crucial at a time when India has been condemning what's been happening in Bangladesh, particularly to minorities. Is that an issue that India will also be bringing up, that Foreign Secretary Misri will also be bringing up with his counterpart, or for that matter with Mohammad Yunus?
Well, Akshita, that should be the big elephant in the room, and one expects that it would be addressed, because that is precisely the reason why we are seeing that, two countries, India and Bangladesh, share such close ties, very, very friendly, neighborly countries, and yet their relationship has, over the past 3 months or 4 months per se, has, taken a plunge, and therefore it requires immediate mending. We've seen escalation of tension between the two countries with, verbal war of words that's continuously taking place between leadership in India, a section in India, and also, mainstream political parties like the BNP now hitting out at India in several of their leaders' speeches. So there is a requirement to de-escalate tensions, and perhaps that is what the first step would be. And therefore this meeting today, this is the first high-profile visit from India, the Indian Foreign Secretary visiting Bangladesh ever since the regime change that took place in August. So it is a positive turn in that sense. He's meeting his Bangladeshi counterpart. The delegation level talks that took place this morning, and we are expecting a brief perhaps sometime in the evening, but this is a positive start, and there needs to be some sort of a de-escalation as far as the war of words is concerned, because remember, diplomatically, in the Deputy High Commission in Kolkata, the Bangladesh Deputy High Commission Office and the Assistant High Commission Office in Tripura, both of them, their top diplomats, both have been recalled by Bangladesh ever since protests took place outside the Deputy High Commission Office in Kolkata and the one in Agartala. So one needs to cool things off, and one hopes that through this meeting that will take place.
All right, Indrajit, thanks very much for those details. We'll track the big takeaways that come in from that visit very, very closely. Let's get you all the updates coming in from Syria. After the Assad regime fell over the weekend, rebel forces, remember, captured Damascus in what was a rapid offensive, bringing to an end 5 decades of the Assad family's iron rule. Moments after al-Assad's ouster, rebels took control of the Hamas military base, Syria's broadcast station, as well as stormed into the presidential palace. As per sources, the ousted President Bashar al-Assad and his family, who fled from Syria on Sunday, have been granted asylum in Russia. The Russian government also claims that they're in touch with Syrian opposition leaders as well. Amid this, the US struck 75 ISIS targets in central Syria, calling rebel alliance leader al-Julani a terrorist. US had, remember, announced a $10 million bounty on al-Julani. And this has been, in fact, the situation between America and the group that's now in charge of Syria for the last many, many years. Al-Julani, in his statement on state television, has said, and I quote, "The future is ours. There is no room for turning back."
هذا مصر يا اخواني، تاريخ جديد للامه الاسلاميه باكملها. هذا مصر يا اخواني، تاريخ جديد للمنطقه. كم تلافينا من مخاطر. ترك سوريا، تركها مزرعه للاطماع الايرانيه. نشر فيها الطائفيه، اثار فيها الفساد.
Let's bring in Ashraf Wani, who's joining us live with the latest updates of what's happening currently in Syria. Ashraf, there were a lot of questions about al-Assad's fate right now and what really happens to him. It looks like he's been granted asylum in Russia, but at this point, there doesn't seem to be any planned or scheduled meeting between him and President Putin, or at least that's what Russia maintains.
Absolutely, this now has got clear that Bashar al-Assad, when he fled from the Damascus, he used the route to reach the Russian airbase in the Syria, and then he boarded the Russian plane and has landed with family in Moscow. And his all belongings and his palace had been captured by the rebel forces, not only by the rebel forces, but even some civilians.
We're having a problem clearly with your connection, and we'll come back to you for more details.